If you're over 60 and you've noticed that getting up from a chair takes a little more effort than it used to, that your knees complain on the stairs, that your balance isn't quite what it was 10 years ago, I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes because what I'm about to share could genuinely change the way you move, feel, and live for the next 20 years. There is one simple exercise that doctors and physical therapists keep coming back to, again and again, when they talk about staying strong, independent, and steady on your feet after 60. It doesn't require a gym membership. It doesn't require fancy equipment, and it takes less time than brewing your morning coffee. But here's the part almost nobody tells you. Most people over 60 are quietly losing the very ability this exercise protects, and they don't even notice it happening until the day they can't get up off the floor without help. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what this exercise is, why experts say it matters so much for your heart, your blood sugar, your joints, and even your brain, and how to do it safely starting today, no matter your current fitness level. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Linda, because her story is one that so many people in their 60s and 70s quietly relate to. Linda was 68, active in her own mind, still gardening, still walking her dog every morning. But one afternoon, she bent down to pick up a fallen flower pot, and when she tried to stand back up, her legs simply didn't have the strength. She sat there on her porch for almost 15 minutes before she could push herself up using the railing. Nothing bad happened that day, no fall, no injury, but it scared her, because she realized something had been slipping away for years without her noticing. Her leg strength, her ability to rise, her independence. And that fear is exactly what motivated her to start doing the one exercise we're going to talk about today. Here's something researchers have been pointing to for years now, and it might surprise you. The strength in your legs, especially your ability to stand up from a seated position, is one of the strongest predictors of how independently you'll be able to live as you age. Not your grip strength, not how far you can run, but this one simple movement, the sit to stand. Some studies following older adults have found that how easily a person can rise from a chair without using their hands correlates strongly with their overall health outlook in the years ahead. That's a big claim, so let's slow down and unpack why this one movement carries so much weight. Every time you sit down and stand back up, you are asking a whole team of muscles to work together. Your quadriceps in the front of your thighs, your glutes, your hamstrings, your core, and even the smaller stabilizing muscles around your ankles and hips. This is called a compound movement, meaning it trains multiple muscle groups and multiple joints at the same time, which is exactly why physical therapists love it so much for people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. It mimics real life. You're not lifting a barbell in a gym. You're training the exact motion you use getting off the couch, getting out of the car, getting up from the toilet, or standing up from a low chair at a restaurant. That's why doctors call it functional strength. Strength that translates directly into everyday independence. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. And this is something I want you to really sit with for a moment. Starting somewhere around age 30, most people begin losing a small percentage of their muscle mass every decade if they aren't doing anything to actively maintain it. By the time many people reach their 60s and 70s, this gradual muscle loss, which researchers call sarcopenia, can add up to a meaningful decline in strength. And the muscles that tend to go first? The big ones in your legs and hips, the very muscles you use every single time you stand up. This is why so many older adults describe feeling like their body changed overnight, when in reality, it was a slow, silent process that had been happening for years, quietly, without any obvious symptoms, until one day the stairs feel steeper, and standing up from a low couch takes real effort. But here's the encouraging part. And this is the whole reason I wanted to make this video. This kind of muscle loss is not simply an unavoidable part of getting older that you have to accept. Research on strength training in older adults has consistently shown that even people in their 70s, 80s, and beyond can rebuild meaningful strength and improve their ability to move well. Your muscles remain remarkably responsive to the right kind of movement, no matter your age. This is genuinely one of the most hopeful findings in the entire field of healthy aging. It's never too late to start. And the exercise we're talking about today is one of the simplest, safest ways to begin. So what exactly is this exercise doctors and physical therapists talk about so often? It's the humble sit to stand, sometimes called the body weight squat when done without a chair. You've done this movement thousands of times in your life without thinking about it. But when you do it intentionally as a practice a few times a day, it becomes something much more powerful. Here's a taste of what's coming up in the next part of this video. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do this movement safely, step by step, including a modified version if standing up is currently difficult for you. I'll also explain why this single exercise is connected to better blood sugar control, a stronger heart, and even a sharper memory, which might sound surprising, but the connection is very real and backed by how our bodies work. So don't go anywhere, because what comes next might be the most important part of this whole video. Let's start with your safety, because that matters more than anything else. If you have any joint pain, a recent injury, or a health condition affecting your heart, balance, or bones, please talk with your doctor before starting any new exercise, including this one. That's not me being overly cautious. That's simply good, responsible advice that any experienced health educator would give you. Now, with that said, let's walk through this together, step by step, the way I would if I were sitting right there with you. Find a sturdy chair, one that doesn't wobble, ideally with arms you can use for support if needed. Place it against a wall if you're not sure how stable it is. Sit toward the front edge of the chair, feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart. Lean your chest forward slightly, keep your back straight, and push through your heels as you rise to standing, using your legs to do the work rather than momentum. Once you're standing tall, pause for a breath, then slowly lower yourself back down with control, rather than plopping down. That's one repetition. If that feels like a lot right now, that's completely fine. You can start by using your hands on the chair arms or on your thighs for extra support. And as your strength builds over the coming weeks, you can gradually rely on that support less and less. A wonderful way to begin is simply 5 repetitions, once or twice a day. That's it. You don't need 30. You don't need to feel exhausted afterward. Consistency matters far more than intensity here. Many physical therapists who work with older adults recommend starting small and building gradually, because the goal isn't to prove something to yourself in one dramatic session. The goal is to build a habit your body can sustain for years. Think of it like watering a plant a little bit every single day rather than dumping a bucket of water on it once a month. Small, steady, consistent effort is what creates lasting strength. Now here's something I promised you earlier, and I want to really slow down here because this connection surprises a lot of people. Why would a leg exercise have anything to do with your blood sugar? It comes down to where your body stores and uses glucose. Your leg muscles, especially the big muscles in your thighs, are some of the largest muscle groups in your entire body, and muscle tissue is a major site where your body pulls glucose out of your bloodstream to use as fuel. When you strengthen and actively use these muscles, research suggests your body becomes more efficient at managing blood sugar levels, because you're essentially expanding the size and capability of your body's glucose storage and usage system. This is one of the reasons many doctors now recommend simple strength exercises like sit-to-stands alongside walking, particularly for adults who are managing blood sugar concerns as they age. It's not about one dramatic workout. It's about giving your muscles regular, gentle demand so they stay metabolically active. And this leads beautifully into the heart health piece, because your heart doesn't work in isolation from the rest of your body. When your leg muscles are stronger, everyday activities like climbing stairs, carrying groceries, or walking uphill become less demanding on your cardiovascular system as a whole. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard to accomplish the same everyday tasks, because your muscles are sharing more of the load efficiently. Many cardiologists and researchers who study aging point out that maintaining muscular strength, alongside regular movement like walking, supports healthy blood pressure and overall heart function as we age. It's a beautiful example of how your body works as one connected system, not separate parts. Now let's talk about something a little unexpected, your brain. You might be wondering what standing up from a chair has to do with memory and mental sharpness. Here's the fascinating part. When you engage large muscle groups through movement like this, your body increases blood flow throughout your entire system, including to your brain. Researchers studying healthy aging have found associations between regular physical activity, including strength-based movement, and better cognitive function in older adults. Movement appears to support the release of certain proteins and growth factors in the brain that are associated with learning and memory. Nobody is claiming that doing sit-to-stands will prevent memory decline entirely. That would be an irresponsible thing for me to tell you, but experts consistently recommend staying physically active, including functional strength movements like this one, as part of a broader lifestyle that supports brain health as you age. There's also something wonderfully practical happening here that connects directly to fall prevention. which is one of the biggest concerns doctors have for people over 60. Falls are one of the leading causes of injury in older adults, and much of that risk comes down to two things: muscle strength and balance. When your legs are stronger, you catch yourself faster if you stumble. You have the power to correct a wobble before it becomes a fall. This single exercise, practiced consistently, directly trains the exact muscles and movement pattern involved in preventing those falls. Think about how many falls happen exactly during this motion: standing up too quickly, misjudging a step, losing balance while rising from a low seat. You are literally training your body for the moments that matter most. I want to pause here and tell you about someone else. A gentleman named Robert, 72 years old, who started doing this exercise after his doctor mentioned it during a routine checkup. He was skeptical at first. It seemed too simple to matter. But he committed to 5 repetitions, twice a day, every single day. After about 6 weeks, he noticed he could get up from his recliner without needing to push off with his hands. After a few months, walking up the stairs to his bedroom felt noticeably easier. He told his daughter it felt like getting a little piece of his younger self back. Stories like Robert's aren't unusual. They reflect exactly what research on functional strength training in older adults has shown: gradual, meaningful improvement with consistent, simple effort. Now, I know some of you watching are thinking, this sounds almost too simple to be the answer. And that's a fair thought. So let's address it directly in the next part of this video, because I want to show you exactly how to build on this exercise as you get stronger, how often experts recommend doing it, what mistakes to avoid, and how this one simple movement fits into a bigger picture of healthy, independent aging that touches your sleep, your mood, and your everyday energy levels. There's more here than meets the eye, so let's keep going. As you get more comfortable with the basic sight to stand, there are gentle ways to build on it, always at your own pace and always listening to your body. Some people progress by doing the movement more slowly, taking 3 or 4 seconds to lower down instead of dropping quickly, which increases the demand on your muscles without adding any extra risk. Others progress by using a slightly lower chair once the standard height feels easy, or eventually removing their hands from support entirely. Some people, once they feel steady and strong, and after checking with their doctor, work toward doing the movement without a chair at all, a full bodyweight squat, holding onto a countertop for balance if needed. There's no rush here. The goal is steady, sustainable progress, not speed. Many physical therapists suggest reassessing every few weeks, not every few days, because real strength gains happen gradually, the same way a garden grows, not overnight, but season by season. A common mistake I see people make, understandably, is going too hard, too fast. Excitement is a wonderful thing, but doing 50 repetitions on day 1, out of enthusiasm, often leads to sore muscles that discourage you from continuing the next day. Remember Linda from earlier in this video? When she started, she began with just 3 repetitions twice a day. 3, that's all. Within 2 months, she had worked her way up to 12 repetitions without support. And more importantly, she never had a day where she felt too discouraged to continue. Slow and steady truly does win this race. Another common mistake is holding your breath during the movement. Breathe naturally, exhaling as you stand up and inhaling as you lower down, which helps your body move more efficiently and comfortably. Let's also talk about how this fits into your joints. Because I know many of you watching have some knee or hip discomfort, and you might be wondering if this exercise is safe for you. The sit to stand, when done with proper form, chest forward, weight through your heels, controlled movement, is generally considered one of the more joint-friendly strength exercises, precisely because it's a natural human movement your body was designed to do. That said, everybody's joints are different. And if you have existing joint conditions, this is exactly the kind of thing to discuss with your doctor or a physical therapist, who might suggest modifications like a slightly higher chair or a smaller range of motion to start. The wonderful thing about strength training in general, according to many physical therapists who specialize in working with older adults, is that maintaining strong muscles around your joints often helps support and stabilize those joints during everyday movement, which is part of why this particular exercise gets recommended so often for people dealing with knee or hip concerns. Now here's something that ties everything together beautifully, and it's something not enough people talk about. This exercise doesn't exist in isolation. It works best as part of a broader daily rhythm that includes things like walking regularly, staying hydrated, eating a balanced variety of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and lean proteins, and getting consistent, quality sleep. Experts who study healthy aging often describe it as a web, where movement supports better sleep supports better mood and energy supports more movement, and round it goes in a positive cycle. Starting with one simple exercise like this can be the first thread that pulls the whole web together. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You just need one small, sustainable habit to begin building momentum. And this exercise is a wonderful place to start, precisely because it's so accessible and requires nothing but a chair and a few minutes of your day. I want to address one more question I hear all the time, which is timing. Does it matter when during the day you do this? Honestly, the research here points less to a magic hour and more to simple consistency, whatever time fits naturally into your existing routine. Some people like doing their sit-to-stands right after brushing their teeth in the morning, using that habit they already have as a trigger for the new one. Others prefer doing them during a commercial break while watching television in the evening, turning idle sitting time into something productive. There's no wrong answer here. The best time is the time you'll actually stick with. What matters far more than the clock is that you're not skipping days for weeks at a time, because like most things related to strength, the benefits come from steady repetition, not from cramming. I also want to touch on something practical for those colder mornings or days when your joints feel a bit stiffer than usual, which many of you know all too well. On those days, a gentle few minutes of easy movement first, like marching in place or slowly circling your ankles and wrists while seated, can help your body feel more ready before you move into your sit-to-stands. This isn't about pushing through discomfort, it's about giving your body a gentle heads up that movement is coming, similar to how you might ease into cold water rather than jumping straight in. Listening to your body this way, adjusting on harder days rather than forcing through them, is part of what makes this kind of exercise sustainable for years, rather than something you try for 2 weeks and abandon. I also want to gently mention something about mindset, because I think it matters just as much as the physical movement itself. So many people over 60 have absorbed this quiet, unspoken belief that decline is simply inevitable, that getting weaker, slower, and less steady is just what happens with age, and there's nothing to be done about it. But that belief, while understandable, isn't the full picture. Yes, aging brings real changes. That's simply biology, and I would never tell you otherwise. But how you age, how much strength, mobility, and independence you maintain along the way is influenced significantly by the choices you make consistently, day after day. Robert and Linda didn't do anything extraordinary. They didn't run marathons or transform into different people. They simply decided that 5 minutes a day, standing up and sitting down with intention, was worth their time. And that small decision compounded into something meaningful over months. If you take away just one thing from this video, let it be this: your strength, your balance, and your independence as you move through your 60s, 70s, and beyond are not entirely out of your hands. There is real power in simple, consistent movement, and the sit-to-stand exercise we've talked about today is one of the most accessible, well-supported places to begin. It supports the muscles that keep you steady on your feet. It may help support healthy blood sugar levels by keeping your muscles active and engaged. It takes some of the load off your heart during everyday activities. And it fits into a broader lifestyle that experts associate with sharper thinking and better balance as the years go on. None of this requires a gym, a trainer, or any special equipment. It requires a chair, a few minutes, and a decision to start today rather than someday. So here's what I'd love for you to do. Try 5 sit-to-stands today right after this video ends if you're able to, and notice how your legs feel. Do it again tomorrow. And the day after that, give yourself a few weeks before judging the results. Because real change builds quietly, the same way it was quietly lost. I'd genuinely love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me how it goes. Tell me if you tried it. Tell me if you have a chair sit-to-stand story of your own like Linda or Robert. Your experience might be exactly what encourages someone else watching this to get started today. If this video gave you something useful, please consider sharing it with a friend, a parent, or a family member who could use this reminder that it's never too late to build strength and stay independent. And if you'd like more honest, practical, science-based guidance for staying strong, sharp, and healthy as you age, go ahead and subscribe, because there's so much more we're going to explore together. Take care of yourself, start small, stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next video.